All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Green White Checker TV. Tonight we have the Dark Horse Area 51 Indy Series here tonight at Dover Motor Speedway. 130 laps is our race distance to this evening. Drivers making their qualifying laps right now. Last week, a crazy one at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Name of the game there was cautions during the pit stop cycle. And Chris, I think we could see that again because even in the stock cars, this is one of the most difficult pit roads to get on and off of. And I do believe they made a few rule changes on the pit stop cycles here at Dover, which will require drivers to jump off the racing surface onto the apron entering turn number 3. I think just making that a little bit safer. So we'll see if that comes into play. And also, of course, the fuel mileage, we'll have to see how that shakes out. Sounds like maybe on the edge of a 2-stopper, maybe 3 stops if you have to stay aggressive. So we'll have to see how that all shakes out. But yeah, this is going to be a hard one, I think. I think this is going to be a very tough track to pass. That's very fast, very high banked. And I didn't see a lot of speed drop off through the straights to the turns. So I think this is going to be a bit of a track position race. And I think, honestly, a little bit of a survival one here tonight because this is, to me, with these Indy cars, this is basically Bristol on steroids with these Indy cars here.
Yeah, Bristol on steroids is a very good analogy here. I mean, even just, for the pit aspect, it's crazy for some of these guys to try to slow down, have cars behind them, tell them that they're pitting, get off the apron, which is already tricky enough just due to the banking. Then make sure that you hit the pit lane and not speed through the cones, which all happens all in a matter of about 2 or 3 seconds with these Indy cars going so fast. And then coming right back on track. And if you had old tires and you didn't take any, it's just an ice trip. You're just sitting there on ice.
Yeah, and that's gonna be the thing is I think that honestly that still could come into play. I do see some drivers say, you know what, I'm desperate enough for track position. I might consider just doing fuel only. So it's going to be interesting to see. Like I said, qualifying still going on here. It looks like a couple of cars still on track putting laps in. However, got to mention last week, Jeff Heisong getting the big win over Dan Marrera, Nick Degroot, our top 3 finishers in that one, with Eric Peterson, Jim Brooks rounding out our top 5. So I'd say there was definitely that was kind of just a crapshoot of a race, honestly. I'll say, well, we'll use Vegas terms on that one too. It was definitely a roulette wheel, if you will, for if it was going to be your night or not. And it was like 3 different drivers at points looked like they were in control of that race. Nick Degroot at one point, then Jim Brooks at one point. But then at the end, I'll say it was that number 18 of Jeff Heisong able to be in the right place at the right time and took full advantage of it, made sure he did not give up that track position, and got that big win.
Yeah, this is almost like Vegas 2.0, but I mean, you already said it was Bristol, so it's going to be one of those weird races where you want to stay out in front as long as possible. But I think the big thing for you is to keep a clean car. If you're able to pass somebody, make sure that you can complete the pass. And if not, it might be time to just sit back, wait for your turn.
Yeah, and I think that's exactly it. I think if you're kind of mid-backpack, I think, honestly, I think game plan is you just save your car, save your fuel, save your tires, and then maybe, again, try to make that pit stop cycle be your best friend. Or maybe, maybe try to do a little bit less fuel in your final stops, just something to shorten your time on pit road. So it's going to be interesting to see. It looks like everybody is definitely thinking qualifying is going to be critical because right now, of the 15 entries this evening, 12 have put a lap down so far. So looks like definitely qualifying has been on these guys' minds here tonight. So I believe our last car is just crossing the line now to finish his laps. And that's going to kick off our starting grid here in just a second.
Looking at the board right now, from 1st to 10th, there's cars all within a tenth of themselves. So a very close field. It's going to be a very close race. I think it's just going to come down to handling and then who can kind of just survive.
Yeah, exactly right. So it looks like qualifying has just completed. It's time for the grid here tonight. So on pole position, going to be Nick Degroot by 0.02 of a second over Matt Wagner in that number 6 machine. And then Luis Gonzalez Nunez, Jari Brubacher, Eric Peterson, our top 5 tonight. And we'll continue on then with Christian Alesho, Charles Teed, Craig Forsyth, Jeff Heisong, William Gunn, our top 10. And then from 11th on back, you've got AJ Musselman, Dan Marrera, Joseph Morales, Jim Herrick, and Joseph DeCiro will be our 15 starters this evening. So Almost a little bit more, almost a bit of an IROC feel, if you will, as well here, Chris, with the shorter field. So it's, and then, again, I mean, we just talked about those qualifying laps. I mean, that's moving. So this is going to be definitely one to keep an eye out, see what these guys can take care of tonight. Because like I said, everything's going to happen so quickly tonight. It's going to be definitely it's going to be wild.
Yeah, I'm looking for the guys in the front to definitely just hold on to the lead. I know when we watched, the Indy 500 or our version of the Indy 500, we'll see a lot of leapfrogging, and sometimes we'll see that with our bigger tracks. But I think if you're going to be in the lead here, you don't want to give up any spots, because with the closeness of how everyone's driving, and you get just enough draft to just stay with everybody, if you get past, you're almost liable to be in a train and just be from first all the way about the fifth or maybe eighth.
Yeah, exactly right, and I think that's exactly it. I think if you don't have one of those first couple rows, I think you just kind of park and chill and just wait for things to open up for you. So that's going to be the question mark, is kind of what's going to be the winning strategy tonight. So you see, I say, don't mind the cars kind of flashing white. I say we're just getting some paint scheme refreshes going on for a couple cars, a few changes late in the session there. But it does look like we've got 14 of the 15 have went ahead and gridded. As you see, the field starting to roll off of pit road. Nick Degroot, Matt Wagner, that front row. You see Jari Brupacher, Eric Peterson rolling on out. As you see the rest of the field swing on by here. That very treacherous pit road is going to be definitely, I think, a story here tonight. So looks like I said 14 drivers going to be taking part in the start of tonight's event. 130 laps here tonight, and again, as fast as these drivers are clicking off laps, if we go green here, Chris, this will be a very quick race. But it's just, yeah, I'm going to be very interested to see how this all kind of pans out over the course of this race, because I think it's going to definitely be patience is going to be the name of the game. I think you get greedy, get aggressive. I see that outside wall biting you very quickly here.
Oh, definitely. Fans, let us know where you're at when you're watching this. Me and Gael are here in Phoenix, so if this is a quick race for us, the sun's still going to be out, and I'm going to be able to go out and probably do some yard work right before the sun goes down. But here we are going green. The pace car is off, and Gael, I'll let you take it away.
Yeah, like I said, pace car is off, waiting for the field to get to that restart zone, waiting for that green flag to fly. And we are down and away, 130 laps. Oh, we got one up in the wall already. Craig Forsyth may have lost a chunk of his front wing right off the bat there, but I believe that was the 81. Yeah, it is, unfortunately, of Christian Alesio. Definitely not a good start there. They got that wheel spin there, caught the outside wall. Trying to see if that car's got suspension damage. May just get away with it enough. That car still seems like it's pointing pretty solidly, so definitely a wild first restart, initial start, I should say there. Up front, though, Nick Degroot stretching it away just a little bit over the number 15 of Luis Gonzalez Nunez, and actually Jim Herrick on pit road possibly. I think, oh no, Jim Herrick had a moment here. Well, let's go back here and take a look. Everything's starting to happen very quickly, so let's go back and take a look at that number 40 machine. Yeah, off the wall out of turn number 4, and then from there just trying to hang on to that car, unfortunately. So we'll jump back live here, because he's going to try to limp this thing to pit road, but this is going to put him laps and laps down, Chris, because again, while he's limping around, these guys are putting down 18-second laps right here, and you can see quickly this field is already split apart here, and also the 81 of Christian Alesio also on pit road. Definitely,
this is rocket ships in a bottle, I like to say, with how fast these guys are going. So this is definitely, like we already said, if it goes green, it's going to be a very quick race. We already see a couple of lines going on through here. What's interesting about this track is that both corners, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, are completely different from each other, where turn 4, there's a little bit of a bump as soon as you come off, and it kind of just drops down. So you have a bump initially, and then it drops down, so you really don't want to be too high. A lot of times you'll see the Cup cars kind of do that, and they'll come off the corner sideways. So if these guys do that here with these Indy cars, it might spell big trouble for everyone. And if you're going around 1 and 2, there's actually a little bit of a divot right at the bottom of the track that a lot of people don't really notice when you're driving in the Cup cars. But these Indy cars, like I said, very light. They might have that little bit of that bump, and you'll see a car kind of shoot up almost like Jari Brupacher. Oh, man.
Yeah, and that's exactly right there, like you said. So this is definitely not a track. You don't just gradually go into the banking. You basically, it's a little roller coaster ride. As you see, Craig Forsyth, close call there. You basically drop down, almost like a little roller coaster. You drop down into the turn, and then you bounce right out of the turn as well. and that really unsettles the car on the entry and really the exit, especially the exit, of course, because you're trying to get all that power down, and then that rear end gets just that little bit light, so you have to be very careful about how aggressive you are on the throttle, or maybe even your settings here, because right now I have a feeling a lot of these guys probably, especially up front, probably foot to the floor, but there's a lot of cars that are getting a little squirrely, and we're going to show again just the pace here, Chris. We're going to hop with Nick Degroot here and take a look at his speed. As right now you see he hits 201, 202 entering the turn. But I mean, look at the drop off. He only drops to 193, 192, so maybe a 10-mile-an-hour drop at most. And I think that's the big thing here, is just how quick these cars are. There's not a lot of drop off through the turns. It's literally probably just the G-forces shoving that car to the ground that's really just slowing that thing just that little bit through the turns here.
Oh, definitely. These cars have about 6 gears, but they're not really going to use them all, I don't think. Usually you're just going to kind of keep your foot in the gas. These cars have a lot of grip, ridiculous amounts of grip. So you're going to see these cars kind of just sit there still in the throttle. But later on in the race, if they have bad tires, you'll see them kind of lift a lot. And just a little bit of that time is going to catch somebody up. So you want to be able to stay your foot in the gas as long as possible. But once those tires start coming off and you're having to lift to just make the corner, that's when you're going to see a lot of position changes.
Yeah, that's exactly. I think it's going to be tire management. Make sure you don't burn the right front off, I think, especially because then you're just going to get tight, have to lift out of the throttle through the turns just to get it to rotate. I don't know if they'll be able to burn the right rears off too badly with these cars. Kind of like I said, we're used to kind of having to watch that right rear, especially in the Cup and Xfinity cars. But I kind of feel like the right front, I think, is going to be the one to watch, especially when you get that dirty air. You just have to be kind of just so committed to either running a different line or probably just crank an extra wheel in it. As you see right there, I think Yari may have just kissed the apron there in the entry, cost him a little bit of time here. That's allowed Eric Peterson to close the gap just a tiny bit more in that number 36 machine. So this is a really good battle right here, 4th, 5th, and 6th. A little further back, you've got Charles T, Jeff Heisong. They're having a little party as well with the two of them. Good friends, but definitely very tough competitors as well. Again, Jeff trying to capitalize on his big win last week, wanting to kind of continue that trend forward. And then also you can see, I mean, you keep going back and just everybody's really tight on each other. Dan Morera, Joseph Morales right on top of each other here for 11th and 12th. And Duty mentioned that you see Christian Alesio and Jim Herrick, they are still both on track. Unfortunately, Christian 3 laps down, Jim Herrick is 6 laps down. So let's say a big hill to climb for these guys. But looking at lap times right now, car on the move looks to be Matt Wagner in that number 6 machine. Started on the outside of the front row, didn't get the start he wanted, lost the spot there to that the 15, as well as Yari. Oh, actually, you saw there, Yari kissed the wall off 4. That looked like a solid little hit there, Chris. That may affect that car's handling, maybe tighten that thing up a lot. So we'll have to keep a close eye on Yari. And this thing again, Eric Peterson now, he's going to say, all right, I just saw that. I got to get around this 49 here.
Yeah, even if the car is fine and still going straight, the mental and the emotional part is not. You're going to spend the next couple of laps just wondering, if that same thing going to happen to me again. Am I running it too hard? Am I running it, too cautiously? You're going to have that mental game to worry about too. As soon as you start kissing that wall a little bit, this track is very, very difficult once you have another car behind you. And sitting there like where Eric Peterson is at, and almost like Craig Forsyth a couple laps ago, when you're behind another car and that dirty air is just, washing up, and you're not able to get, a really good run, or the car gets a little bit tight. As soon as you get open air or someone switches their lane, the car almost feels too good to be true.
Yeah, exactly right. So we're jumping back a little further there. We're watching Joseph Morales, William Gunn once again say they're going back after it here up front. Right now this is in 10th and 11th. So you mentioned you see Charles Teed in the number 50. He's dropped back just a little bit, unfortunately, as he's gotten passed by Jeff Heisong as well as AJ Musselman. And you see, right there, close call there for Joseph Morales. Almost caught the wall there in the entry of 3. That cost him a little bit of momentum as well. But right now, Charles Teed, actually, he's got the pressure on the back wing, I should say, of that number 50, as that was inches apart between that Red Bull machine and the number 50 of Charles Teed.
I probably couldn't put a piece of paper between those guys. They were really fighting real hard for it. But I think the outside line looks like it's trying to win here. I see Charles trying to go for it. And right now, you see the outside line just winning this edge of this battle right now. Oh, and this guy's got a little bit more, a little close again.
Yeah, this is a great fight here, but in this top, right outside the top 10 here. You saw right there, Joseph got to the outside, almost was able to make a move, couldn't quite get it done though. So he has to kind of fall back and regroup and go after it again. But this is definitely a really close battle on track. Saying back towards the front though, Matt Wagner hasn't given up on Luis Gonzalez as well. It's still about 0.4 of a second here, so still a pretty close margin there. Nick's kind of snuck away to about a 1.3 second lead. You saw right there, maybe about a half a straightaway at most. And then another closer battle he is right here between Craig Forsyth and Jeff Heisong. Again, kind of wondering, Craig maybe lingering just a little bit of damage from that initial contact we saw with he in the 81, so may not have full arrow on that number 27 machine. So, but definitely right now the closest battle on track is definitely right here with Joseph Morales, William Gunn. They kind of back and forth. For just a split second, Joseph will get around, William gets right back by, but now it's actually right here. Jeff Heisong has all the pressure that Craig Forsyth can handle.
Yeah, I know when defending an IndyCar, it's just, very tricky. You have a short time to really make your choice and decision. So if you have someone decides to just dive bomb you, you have a really short time to just go ahead and make that decision if you want to fight them or just let them by. These guys are doing a pretty good job of staying off each other. And looking back up to the front, Nick Degroot got his lead out to about 1.5 seconds. I think it's time for him to start thinking about if he wants to increase that or just save his tires and just keep everybody at bay with this 1.5.
Yeah, I think at this point he's got a comfortable lead. I think you look at your fuel mileage and then you kind of just run the number that you think is going to be the winning move. And to me, if you can cut a pit stop out, if you can maybe stretch it just a little bit to get to that 2-stopper instead of the 3, going maybe possibly full rich. Again, I don't know exactly the fuel numbers. We'll obviously be able to tell once they hit pit road. I want to say it's roughly in the 40 range. So to me, I mean, if they can get to about 40, 43 or so, 44, I think that puts them in that 2-stop window to make it to lap 130. Because of course, if they pit at 40 and 180, that only gets them to lap number 120 of 130. So they need to go a little longer than 40, Chris. I think 43 probably about the magic number. 44, maybe just a little extra safety net. So I think that's the window that these drivers are going to be aiming for. So we'll know pretty shortly here, because again, as fast as these laps are ticking off right now, we're going to have pit stops in probably the next roughly 10 laps or so, which again, when we're going 18, 19 seconds per lap, it won't take too long.
Yeah, it just sounds crazy to think about. It feels like we just went green about 5 minutes ago. But, at this point, if you're trying to save fuel, you kind of, go one click full rich, then 2 clicks back to just save fuel for about 2 or 3 laps. You lose some time on the track, but if you keep doing that, you can save yourself about 2 or 3 laps, and if that will get you a whole pit stop, that's golden. That's a golden ticket for positioning on the track. So if you don't have to make a whole nother pit stop, you have the race in your hand.
Yeah, and you see right there, Jeff Heisong has gotten around Craig Forsyth. That puts him up to 6, which is 3 spots gained for Jeff right now, is our highest climber as they run. And not too far back, AJ Musselman also had 3 spots gained in the 54, trying to catch up to Craig and do the same as well. And same goes for Joseph Morales right now. So pretty much 3 spots is our highest climbers for these spots right now in the 6th position, 8th position, and 10th position. But like I said, unfortunately, Charles T dropping back just a little bit, but I have a feeling there might be something up the sleeves of that 50 car. He's not one to make too many mistakes and kind of give things up. So I think he might be thinking long term here. So we'll have to wait and see. But while we went back and looked at those guys, another change for position. Matt Wagner getting back to that runner-up spot in the number 6. So that's going to move him up now behind Nick Degroot. But you can see it cost him about a second or so. Again, we talked about that 1.5 second margin. Now 2.5 seconds, Chris. So that's how much was lost there just in that battle for that runner-up spot.
Yeah, definitely crazy to think about. And I think we had another pass with Craig Forsyth and AJ Musselman. I think they just went and swapped positions. So people are moving. We got some movers and some shakers, coming back. This is going to be a very interesting race with the degree of how many seconds some people are back. So we might have some differing pit strategies. We might have some people trying to go long, some people trying to go short. Not sure what's going to happen here, but like we said, it's very hard pit stop to make, so we might have some accidents coming to pit road. We just got to make sure everyone is A-OK and they make their call outs.
Yeah, and that's the big thing again. And like I said, even with the apron entering turn number 3 for the strategy for how they have to hit inner pit road, it's still not the easiest pit road. They're going to have to really roll these cars down. But what I am looking at right now, though, Chris, is we're at lap number 40. And actually, there's your answer, though. Look at this. Nick Degroot on pit road. Luis Gonzalez Nunez. Oh, just kisses the outside or the pit wall there. We'll have to see. That may force a fast repair out of that number 15. So right now, these cars, I'm going to say, don't have the fuel here, Chris, to make it on 2 stops. So now this kind of goes back to, we'll cycle around to Matt Wagner. He's going to go at least one more lap here to start 42. Again, to me, magic number is lap 43, 44 to try to make it on that 2-stopper. So maybe a little too rich for Nick Degroot here. And Matt looks like he's going to continue along as well to go another lap. Jari Brubacher on pit road. And here's the other thing. Here's how fast these cars are going. Right now, Nick Degroot pitted from the lead. I think he's going to fall 2 laps down as they run right here. That's the risk of having to pit early as we continue to watch Matt Wagner. He's leaning left. Here he comes. He's going to hit pit road right behind Charles Teed. And, ooh, close call for Charles there. Had to get it woe down there. He's going to get down to speed. Matt's going to pass him on pit road. Matt wants to get every ounce of seconds he can, as now Eric Peterson's going to take the point, and he's going to go even further here, Chris, starting lap number 44. So I'm saying right now, Matt Wagner looking pretty good, and I think for sure here, Eric Peterson, Jeff Heisong, Craig Forsyth, I think their field numbers are on the mark here as they both dive in now as well.
Oh, definitely. For Matt to go ahead and extend his lead and almost lap everyone about 2 laps, if there were to be any happenings of a caution, he would be only having to fight about 3 or 4 cars, I would say, that are on the lead lap. And these guys would have to fight for not 1, but 2 whole, laps to come back. And I don't think they might have the lucky dog, but either way, only one person gets that, and everyone else is going to be having to fight for just that lucky dog. So you can almost put yourself in a pretty good position by extending the race lead.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. I think the further you go, the riskier it is for the competition, even if it's kind of costs you a little bit of track time in the meantime. But Nick Degroot, though, he has cycled through. Looks like the green flag cycles have just about completed here, and he's going to cycle back with the lead over back to Luis Gonzalez Nunez. Going to cycle back into second position. Matt Wagner back to third. So Matt's going to have to try to do some work again to get back into that runner-up spot. But again, I'm thinking he's looking at that fuel number, and I think now, again, we saw what happened to Nick. He probably sees the numbers too. He's like, hey, okay, I only went 40 laps and I had to pit. I got 3 seconds to play with here. I'm going to back my pace down if I'm Nick Degroot here. Can you run a little extra to maybe try to make these next 2 runs a fuel mileage run to make it to the end if we don't get a caution? Because right now, you never know. The field's very spread out right now. Top 3 are still within distance of each other, about 4 seconds from Nick to Matt. Then you got to go another 8.5 seconds back to Jari Brubacher and Eric Peterson, AJ Musselman. So this field is very, very spread out right now. We've lapped up to the 10th position. Joseph Morales right now, our first driver, 1 lap down in that number 60 car. So now it's going to be about track position. And the thing is, Nick Degroot, he's about a straightaway from a big pack of cars from basically William Gunn all the way up to Eric Peterson, Jari Brubacher. So let's actually hop on board that 89 car, and you'll see as he comes out of 4, there's the whole pack in front of him heading into turn number 3, and actually you see one down on pit road now. That's the 81. That was Christian Alesio. He's, again, a little off cycle, so he went as far as he could. Now he hits pit road. We'll probably see the same from Jim Herrick here shortly as well. So, yeah, right now Nick's in a nice little bubble here. And honestly, I think this is, like I said, I think Nick should be saving fuel right now if he can, because he has about a half a straightaway in front of him, a half a straightaway behind him, and he's got a couple lap cars as well between himself and Luis Gonzalez Nunez in that 60 car, as well as I believe the 40. I don't know, that's not the 40 Jim Herrick. Trying to catch it. Oh, that's Dan Morera. I'm sorry, in the 26 car. So yeah, so if I'm Nick here, Chris, I full fuel save here. If you can make it, change your strategy to get you back to 2 stops, because you've seen now what your competition's done, I think that's got to be the goal for that number 89 machine.
Yeah, definitely. And not only that, he wants to probably save a little bit of tires and only use them to pass these lap down cars. He's getting ready to catch them, and if they decide to fight him, it's going to be a little bit of a of a parachute and letting guys like Luis Gonzalez and Matt Wagner catch right back up to him. So he's got a couple cars in front of him that he's gonna have to figure out how to get by if they decide not to just let him by and give him the racing line. So there's a little bit of strategy that he needs to start playing here, even though he's leading this race by three almost 4 seconds.
Yeah, you see AJ Musselman, he's actually just lost 3 spots in that last 2 laps, basically. So I'm not sure if that's by strategy or maybe a little bit of damage we may have missed for AJ there, but he drops back from about the 6th position now back to 9th right now. But again, maybe some strategy. He pitted at lap 42, so he might be thinking, hey, I got to try to save a little bit more fuel as well to try to 2-stop it here in case we go green. So I was a little concerned because you could see the aggression from some of these drivers, and actually got one driving down on pit road. And that's going to be Jim Herrick here, going to hit pit road in that number 40 machine. Again, unfortunately, just night was bad from pretty much lap 1 or 2 for him, and it's kind of continued that way. So right now, though, again, Nick Degroot, honestly, he's stretching his lead here, Chris. He's up to about now he was 0.2 of a second quicker that last time by, and it's up to about almost 4 seconds between he and Luis, and then another half a second back to Matt Wagner there in 3rd. So, like I said, and it's actually grown even more from Matt to now Jari. It's now from, we talked about 8 seconds back between them. It's now 10 seconds between 3rd and 4th positions, Jari Brupacher, Eric Peterson. And like I said, we'll go back to that last driver in that pack, AJ Musselman. Look behind him. What do you see? Is going to be a very hungry Nick Degroot to try to clear and get around. It looks like Nick's just said, you know what? I'm just going on full send, and I'm just going to try to basically lap this field if I can.
Yeah, and it looks like he's going to have a little bit of ease of pain here, where we have Luis and Matt kind of sitting behind another lap car. So those two still have to get by Dan Mora, and if they can't do that at any time, that lead's going to go from 3 seconds all the way to about 5, 6, 7. So everyone's kind of fighting lap down cars right now, and if you're a lap down car, you're still fighting for any given spot, because we have about 8 cars in the lead lap now, and we have AJ Musselman the first car lap down. So him and Dan right now, those are 2 guys battling for a lucky dog.
Yeah, so soon it's going to be William Gunn that's in the kind of the sights, if you will, of Nick Degroot as well in that Red Bull machine. But again, right in front of him, just a couple tenths away, you've got Jeff Heisong right there in the 18 last week's winner, Craig Forsyth right in front of Jeff Heisong as well. So and then just go another second half thing. Like I said, Nick can keep up this pace here. He's going to lap up to 4th place here at the rate he's going. But again, my concern is I think he's got maybe too much pace and not enough fuel saving. So like I said, unless he's able to do both right now, I just feel like the lap times he's putting down, I don't know how that's going to be saving fuel in that number 89. So like I said, but maybe this is just one of those things like, hey, you know what, I can probably build enough of a gap, maybe even going full rich, to see if I can then just cycle around the field, because everybody else is going to have to fuel save for these next 2 stints.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see if Nick can, gain a lap or 2 now that he's way out in front and has 2 lap down cars trying to get him. I think he has a couple lap down cars in between them. So he's in a very good spot right now where he can go ahead and just, chill out, get, not push the car too hard. He has a pretty big gap. It's already went back up to 4 seconds and is climbing right now. So I think Nick, he's reaching a train of lap down cars right now. So he's going to have to try to figure this out at the same time. But you can save your tires and kind of just pick these guys apart as soon as they start figuring out, who's the faster car out of those lap down cars, or soon to be lap down cars.
Yeah, that's the thing, is he can see all of them up in front. But actually, just saw there, I believe Jari Brupacher had a moment there out of turn number 4. And so he lost the spot to Eric Peterson, and he's going to lose more here. As you see, Craig Forsyth just snuck by there, and looks like Jeff Heisong going to follow suit as well. And yeah, Yari's actually ducking the pit road, so I think that car's got some significant damage. He's going to try to, he catches the inside pit wall, but he's on pit road. So this may stay under green. He's going to try to loop it around, but unfortunately doesn't make it. I think he's probably going to have to take a tow. Yeah, that's exactly looks like what happened. So that's a tough one for Jari there. And Jari, I'm sorry to say, unfortunately, we did catch that, but yeah, it's just, and that's the game. Dover pit road, very difficult. And imagine trying to make pit road with a damaged car as well. That just makes it that much tougher. Didn't even mention, though, you can see Nick has gotten around William Gunn, so that's now put William Gunn, the first car one down. And AJ's right there. He's going to try to see if he can put himself into that position for the first car one down. Like I said, now Nick's got his sights on a couple of very fast drivers here with Eric Peterson, Craig Forsyth, Jeff Hysong. And again, this is 4th, 5th, and 6th, Chris. This just shows how much speed somehow this number 89 car has. Again, we don't know about fuel. We'll get our answer here in about 10 laps, Chris, I'd say again. I'm watching, if he pits at lap 80, we know he's going to be 10 laps short just because he went at 40. 80 would be right on the dot again. So I think realistically for Nick here to have a chance here, I got to say he's got to probably try to get to, I would think, what, lap maybe 85, 86 to feel maybe a little bit comfortable to maybe make it to the end on that final stint.
Yeah, he might be thinking of trying to get a caution or just kind of wishing for one. If he can stretch out the field a little bit, get the good pit stop, and then kind of just, be able to manage it for, one more pit stop. Because we got about 59 laps to go. These guys are he's going around the outside, so there's a little bit of a difference there. He needs to be careful because there's no place for him to go if there is a little bit of a hiccup there. So he needs to watch out and make sure he's careful making these passes. But it's a tango.
And that was close right there again. And actually, we need to mention a couple hit pit road there. AJ Musselman, William Gunn, they are both on pit road. So again, looking at the pit stop at this point, lap 73, that's too early. This will be three stopper for these guys. So we got, again, I think my magic number for these guys, somewhat to about 44. I
got Gonzalez going in too.
Oh, yeah, you're exactly right. Yeah, that's one of our front runners. Oh, on pit road. That was a hustle on pit road. Hopefully got it down to speed there. But that's getting everything you can get onto pit road. And this is telling me that he's kind of just accepted, hey, I can't make it on 2 stops. I'm going to go ahead and pit early, try to short pit, do that undercut, Chris, and see if I can gain some time on these guys up front. And look at Nick go. He is leaving nothing to chance here. There's no riding for this number 89 car. He is going after it, but here he comes on pit road here, Chris. This is coming to lap 76, so this is going to be 56 to go, 55 to go at the line. So again, this answers our question. He cannot do 2 stops. It's going to be a 3-stopper for Nick. That puts Matt Wagner to the points in that number 6 machine. And now the question is, again, if he can go, like I said, if he can go to that magic window, I'd say, again, roughly, let's say 80. He went 44 last time. If he can go, let's say 88, maybe 87, I think that's a 2-stop race. And he's got 15 seconds over Eric Peterson to play with here, Chris. That is a mile at Dover. Well, actually, it literally is probably a mile right now when they're putting down 18-second laps.
Yeah, I think 18 seconds, so he's got a significant amount of time. But going back to Nick, I think Nick just had enough of being behind lap cars, and I think he wanted to go long, but he decided, hey, there's 2 cars in front of me. They're probably not going to let me go by as easy. They're still fighting for their position, so let me just go ahead, clear the track ahead of me, just go ahead and go pit. Everyone else is already pitting. He at least beat Luis where he's extended his lead right there, so hopefully he can get back out there, get his lead back, and we'll see what Matt does right now since he's in the lead.
That's a good point, though, because we talked about that gap being about 4+ seconds. Luis cut the gap down, Chris. He went from about that 4 seconds to about 3.3 seconds. So there was definitely a net gain out of that 15 over the 89. But yeah, you can see, though, right now the game plan out of Matt Wagner is definitely looking like he wants to stretch this thing. We're at lap 80 now. But again, some of those guys went 40. This time they're say that would be about the 40. But even pitting now, that should put them probably about 5 or so laps short. So I still think they need to get to at least lap number 85, 86 or so. Realistically, honestly, like I said, some of them went 43, 44. So I would say if they're able to run the same fuel numbers, let's look for lap 86 to 88 range if they can kind of keep that similarity going on. So. But like I said, though, Matt has nearly a lap lead over those guys who are also on the same strategy. So worst case scenario, he can back this thing down a mile, Chris, and still have the field match. So like I said, Nick Degroot might be banking on a yellow. Matt Wagner, he wants this thing to go caution free because he is loving his strategy right now.
Yeah, these guys really don't lose that much time, with the tires and everything else. You might lose maybe a second for how long Matt's been running. He's still running 18.8, and his qualifying time was an 18.2. So there's not that much fall off from the time. So if Matt's able to stay out, and like I said, kill a whole pit stop, that's going to put him in such a great position that he, it's almost worth the risk of, almost falling a lap or two short. And I think he's coming close to that. He's at 46 laps to go, so he might come in this lap and be able to extend it.
Yeah, that's the thing is I think if you can make it to 44 to go, I'm going to say, I mean, we've seen people go 44, so we know it's doable, and he's already going around one more time, so this is going to be 45 to go here, which would be 44 to go next time by. I think Matt's definitely in a great spot here, to put it bluntly, honestly. I think he's in, honestly, the catbird spot, even without a yellow, especially without a yellow. Even with a yellow, though, he sits 2 laps ahead of Nick Degroot. He's got all but the top 4 laps right now, and he's only not even a straightaway behind them, so... Yeah, I really like what I'm seeing out of Matt Wagner. He's going even further here. We're at 44 to go. He still stays out. He's got this fuel mileage down to a T, as he's going to roll on the pit road here. Chris, come to 43 to go. Matt Wagner, now it's just all about no mistakes out of that number 6 machine, as Eric Peterson's going to continue on. It looks like we'll see if he comes in this time or not in the 36 car, or again, maybe see if he's going to stretch just a little further out of Eric and Craig. And Jeff Hysong, it looks like the answer is yes. These guys can go even a little further than Matt. So now, again, those guys that pitted, this is where things get a little stressful. You got to make sure you don't want to get trapped a lap down if we get that always untimely and always painful yellow.
Yeah, I think Matt, just like everyone else, has been in the lead as soon as you start catching up to the lap down cars. I know he was shooting for a number, but it seemed like he just caught up to a couple of lap cars, and he was like, nope, it's time for me to go in.
Craig Forsyth and Eric Peterson contact on pit road there. You saw for a split second, Craig lost his front wing. It looks like it kind of reappeared, so Craig might be okay. But let's look off the back if we can see anything, and that wing looks all right there, so I think he's going to get away with it. But, man, Craig has not had an easy night tonight, to put it bluntly. So that's going to be our leaders on pit road to finish up their final stops, scheduled stops of the race. Jeff Hysong as well coming in now. He's actually able to go one further than Eric and Craig there. So hats off to Jeff here, going full send on the fuel mileage. But the up front, that's going to put Nick Degroot back to the lead here, and looking to see where everybody cycles out. Actually, Matt Wagner looks like he's going to win the fight out of pit road for the second spot, as he is around Luis Gonzalez Nunez. And by a fair margin, he's got about 4 seconds almost on Luis. You can see the gap growing as they go. So right now, like I said, I mean, as they run, Matt is loving life right here. The only thing he does not want is he wants this thing to stay. Oh, there it is, actually. And just jinxed it. Commentator's curse for the lose. Jari Brupacher, unfortunately, looks like had an incident. Caution is out. I'm trying to find, yep, there's Jari on the backstretch. We'll go back and take a look. But this will be interesting here. He's going to try to get that car looped around here before Nick gets there, trying to save a lap or two. And looks like he will get going. He'll stay in front of the pace car. But what this should do here is, I believe this will force Nick onto pit road. I don't think he can stay out any further. I don't think he can make the fuel mileage to make it. So even with this, I don't think all is lost for Matt here. He wanted to stay green. He's not going to get that, unfortunately. As, yeah, here comes Nick. He is going to indeed hit pit road. And then, yeah, so we'll see him hit pit road. I believe we'll see Luis also most likely on pit road as well. It looks like yes. And I disagree with this wholeheartedly right here, though, Chris. Matt Wagner on pit road as well. I think he just made a huge mistake here. Matt, I'm sorry, I love you, but you don't pit there. You stay out. You keep all your competition a lap down, because so many cars right now are going to get a free lap back right here, take the wave around. And I haven't seen passing being that easy to do here. I think Matt should have stayed out, took the lead. He had the fuel to make it to the end. I'm not sold on this fuel strategy, but we'll see. Maybe he just takes a splash of fuel and no tires and jumps ahead. Now, too late already. Nick's already gone there. So, yeah, this is going to be a tough one. This is a tough pill to swallow for me when I put my crew chief hat on. I kind of feel like you had to stay out there if you're Matt Wagner.
Yeah, not only that, he would have been in front of Nick, and if he would have to, Nick would have to make the pass to get by him. Whether that would be hard or easier for him wouldn't really make the difference. The fact is, he would be in the lead, and he would have to have somebody pass him to win this race. Not only that, he let everybody back on the lead lap, or a few cars on the lead lap. So it's going to be a little difficult for everyone to kind of sit where they're at right now and just try to get back to racing. So Matt probably could have done with not pitting. I honestly think that he had the fuel mileage race, won. All he had to do was kind of just back it down, which these guys are already probably in fuel map, 8 or 7 or whichever it is. So they're already saving fuel. So if you were close, I think Luis might have been close too. So a lot of these guys could have been close on fuel, and they probably could have made it just off this caution alone. But I see Matt just completely stopped. I'm not sure what's going on.
He's parked on the front stretch here. Maybe a VR issue, or not sure. So we'll see if he grabs a gear and gets going again. But yeah, something going on with that 6 car. As we're in the yellow, do need to mention though, Eric Peterson was our lucky dog. He's on pit right now, so he gets back on the lead lap through that. But like I said, I mean, we're gonna go. So basically, from Matt going ahead and pitting, we're going from would have been 4 cars on the lead lap to now 8 cars on the lead lap. I believe actually 8, maybe 7. Looks like William Gunn may have actually hit pit. Yeah, William Gunn actually pitted under that caution as well. So we're going to go to 7 cars on the lead lap, adding Jeff Heisong, AJ Musselman, and Craig Forsyth. And yeah, Matt's back up and running here. He's going to get his spot back in line there. I'll say maybe some technical difficulties there, but that's gonna be one that stings though, Chris. If this is one that gets away, this is gonna sting for Matt. But we'll see. We still got gonna restart this thing with about 30, probably about 35 to go. Again, at this point, fuel out of the question. These guys are gonna be going to map 1 full rich. So there's not going to be any saving from here on out. So maybe Matt feels like he's got something in his sleeves here. Just needed to make sure he was on level playing grounds with Nick. As you're going to see, we're going to see a bunch of cars here wave by, get laps back to get back into the thick of this thing. And it's going to then let Nick Degroot roll back up to that pace car.
Yeah, kind of put it in Vegas terms, he had 1-7, got a good pit stop, another 7, another good pit stop, and that was, that was the last one that he needed, and that last 7 just didn't come up with the yellow coming out. So tough break for Matt. His strategy was playing out very soundly, and he was able to do exactly what he wanted. But now he's gonna have to do it the hard way and get by Nick, who has definitely shown that he can kind of get away, stretch his legs a little bit. So it's gonna be a very interesting start right here. We had a little bit of a hiccup at the last restart, I guess the initial start of the race. So these guys do need to be mindful of that. It has been 100 or almost 100 laps since
about
the last
90 laps caution free.
So it's almost been 100 laps since they had to go again. So these guys just need to be mindful of that. I don't know if anyone's been telling them now, if they have crew chiefs of their own, but definitely something to look out for as the pace car goes down.
Yeah, pace car heading in. It's going to hand over to Nick Degroot. This is now Nick has control of this restart here. Again, at the initial start, it was all on the green flag. So he's going to wait, it looks like, to go, and waiting a little long. Now he's down and away, and we'll keep an eye. Also got to watch that accordion, a little bobble there from the 81. Looks like everybody's down and away cleanly, though, as they head back into turn 1 here on lap number 96 of 130.
Yeah, I saw a little bit of a bobble for, I think, either Dan Moore. I think someone hit somebody in the back, but seems like all the cars are going, he's going on the pits. I think that is, I can't see the car.
On pit road, yeah.
Oh, no, he's had a bad day.
Yeah, looks like took a quick tow as well. So, yeah, it's been a tough one for Yari here. So, but right now, though, Nick Degroot, he still holds the lead, but we talked about how he just ran away with it. Not the case now. Matt Wagner right on that gearbox of that number 89 machine.
Yeah, we have a couple big battles in the back. Oh, there's Charles T. He's in the middle of a conundrum over there. I just see AJ Musselman and Jeff Heisong.
Yeah.
So they're in a little bit of a rough spot here. Hopefully these guys can kind of fan out and get things under control.
Yeah, so Charles T's in a tough spot because he's just surrounded by drivers fighting for position, because AJ Musselman, Craig Forsyth, Jeff Heisong. This is all for position, these drivers here, and say right now Charles is 1 lap down but stuck in the middle of it. Oh, it was almost contact with he and Craig Forsyth there as they enter 3, and yeah, it's definitely getting dicey right now. And you know what? We got to go back because Matt Wagner, he took the point there in that number 6 machine. Let's go back here. I'll take a look here to see how that happened. It looks like just got a good run. Let's go back even a little further here, Chris, so we can see this kind of take shape here. As you can see, there's the 89. He kind of drifts up there. Matt Wagner says, don't mind me. I'll take that all day, every day. And he's just going to slide right underneath the 89. He takes the point. So new leader is that 6 of Matt Wagner. However, he's not going to get away from Nick because Nick is right there, as is Luis Gonzalez Nunez. And then a little further back is the 14 of William Gunn. And here comes Nick Degroot. He's going to go back after him as he swings back around there, entering turn number 1. So it looks like we've got a race on our hands here.
Yeah, it seems like all the passes are starting to happen, are starting to formulate right after turn 4. Well, cars, getting hot. We saw Matt go high, and then Nick got by him, and Nick, earlier before that, he got a little bit high, and then Matt went by him. So they're still close enough, and then looking back, I think that is Luis kind of just sitting around, just waiting for both these guys to make a mistake.
Yeah, so yeah, right now, I mean, Luis is in a good spot here. I mean, he can let these guys kind of get a little wild and kind of, like you said, we've talked about tires and strategies. Maybe just save his stuff here a little bit. Let them kind of fight hard and kind of just go back and forth. And then maybe if they bobble a little bit, lose momentum, then you make your charge in that number 15 machine. We talked about, I mean, Luis had an amazing finish to last season, and he's looking to get that going back again to start this season as well. So this will be fun to see what he's got in store for these guys, because right now he's got a little bit of wiggle room. He's got about 1.3 seconds over the next car for position, which is Eric Peterson. And again, Eric was the wave around car, got the lucky dog back on the lead lap here. Also was able to get tires and fuel in that 36. So from 5th on back, we're pretty much the wave arounds with AJ Musselman, Jeff Heisong, Craig Forsyth, who continue to just duke it out here for 5th, 6th, and 7th. Right now, AJ has that spot of those 3. But yeah, right now, though, Nick's able to kind of stretch it just a little bit here, about that 0.3 of a second between those top 3. Matt Wagner and Luis Gonzalez Nunez, each about 2 to 3 tenths apart from each each other.
Yeah, very close race in here. Close race for the lead here of the race, and then close race for a couple of spots back around the 7th, 8th position, or 6th and 7th position. I think that is Jeff, and that might be a lap down car, but these guys still been battling, even if you're a lap down car or a lead lap car. It seems like everybody's still trying to get to William Gunn's coveted spot of the lucky dog, and hopefully we can finish this race with 22 laps to go under green.
Here we got an unscheduled pit stop, though. Craig Forsyth on pit road in that number 27 machine. So not sure what happened to Craig here, but he's hit pit road. We'll go back a little bit and try to take a closer look at Craig. Oh, I think he caught the wall there out of 4. I think that's what's forced that pit stop out at 27. We talked about that. He's definitely had an eventful race, and I think you're going to see pretty much right off the bat, as soon as he hit that wall, he's pretty much decided, you know what, I got to hit pit road and get this taken care of. And actually, no, it looks like he may have went one more lap. Nope. Yeah, one more. He ran one lap. It looks like he didn't realize, yeah, that wasn't going to be the right call. So he is on pit road. Nick Degroot still holding a very slim lead over Matt Wagner as we're down to 20 to go here, 19 to go at the line. And they've actually kind of dispatched themselves from Luis a little bit here. He's fallen to about 6-7 tenths off of those 2 in front of them. So at the moment, looking like a 2-horse race. So these 2 are definitely got their rides dialed in here for this final stint.
Yeah, I definitely can't call it right now. It looks like Matt is definitely on his gearbox. So he's going to try to sit here and try to figure out how to get by Nick. I think that key turn 4 and just getting a great run off of there is going to help him figure that out. And Nick's just going to figure out how to block him. But a little bit of a gap breakup over there. I think Matt just got a little too close and the air was just a little too dirty. So he's going to have to sit there, regroup, and catch back up. He's still within the draft, and we'll see what's going to happen in the next 17 laps here.
Yeah, I wonder if maybe the tires are giving up a little bit because, yeah, he got real close, but you're right, though. I think he may have just got too much aero wash in turn 3 and 4. And right as we switched his camera, you could hear him have to roll out of the throttle to kind of gather that car back up. But it's not, obviously not over yet, because I'm looking in front of that number 89, Nick Degroot, and he's got some company up here. He's got Charles Teeds right there. He's got Joseph Morales. Actually, AJ Musselman, he's on pit road here. I think we might be something going on, either a mistake for AJ or possibly just, again, we talked about some of those drivers taking wave rounds. Did they maybe still somehow not have the fuel to make it to the end? I'm skeptical about it, but I'm seeing these guys duck in, and yeah, something's not clicking to me on this one, Chris. But yeah, we've had now Craig Forsyth hit pit road, AJ Musselman hit pit road. Like I said, I think Craig's was for damage and contact with the wall. So yeah, so we'll see. But right now, Nick's gotten around Charles Teed. He's working on Joseph Morales as well. On the top side here, you see Matt Wagner around Charles Teed. So far, everybody's playing pretty nice. Looks like Charles kind of let them go and said, you guys do your fight. I'll kind of worry about Joseph here a little later. But right now, Nick's been able to actually really stretch that lead with all of that going on now to up to about 0.7 of a second, as Matt's now trying to work over that number 60 here through 1 and 2.
Yeah, a little bit of a bad exit for Matt right there, so he's going to lose a little bit more time. But I think some of the guys thought they were going to get at least one lap back, so they probably just stayed out knowing that they would probably have to pit again and just kind of banking on another caution. So not sure why we have a couple not yellows, but a couple cars going off track. They might have hit the wall and just figured out that their car is not going to be good or survive the rest of the race if they don't come in right now. But going back to the lead, we see Nick extend the lead almost to a second, but we see Matt having to chase him back down. Nick has one more lap down car to get through. It might be an easy pass, might be a hard pass, but either way, Matt likes what he sees.
Yeah, and I'll say he's got the car in front of him that he wants to try to catch. And I'm looking at lap times. Yeah, the car in front, actually, I think he's going to sneak away. That was AJ Musselman, who had just pitted, and he's actually stretching the gap. He's 18:32 that lap compared to Nick's 18:56. However, unfortunately, Matt was just about a half a tenth slower in 18:63. So not a big loss, but just a little slower out of that number 6 machine. And the other thing I'm noticing right now here, Chris, is these guys are running pretty much, it looks like 5th gear instead of, actually, I should say, take that back. It looks like Nick's rolling on 6th gear. Matt's in 5th gear here, trying to keep those revs up in that number 6 machine. So a little bit different strategy here. You can see the 6 on the dash of Nick. That's 6th gear, obviously. Go back to Matt, 5th gear in that number 6 machine. So looks like a little different strategies on that. And, I mean, he's closing the gap slowly. This time only 0.03 of a second advantage. But, like I said, it's kind of going the right way just a little bit here. But again, we're down to 8 to go, Chris, because we just talked about, it feels like a minute ago we're at 20 to go, coming around 7 to go here. That's just how fast these laps click off.
Yeah, not sure what the difference is with those 2 gear changes, or the 2 gears from these guys. Obviously, Matt's going to be in the kind of like high-strung, 5th gear. It wants to swap over the 6, but there's not really enough power, and I'm not sure why Nick is in the 6th gear. But we can definitely ask him after the race. As we see, the lap cars almost had a wreck right in front of the leaders.
Yeah, and that's exactly what Nick does not want to see in front of him, because, like you said, when things get a little dicier, and it is for a position though with Craig Forsyth and AJ Musselman. Those are the 2 that kind of had those unscheduled pit stops, unfortunately. So I mean, it's unfortunate for 11th and 12th positions, but I mean, it's for position. And I mean, I gotta give a shout out though for Christian Alesho in that number 81. He's still sticking with it too. He's actually worked himself back into the top 10 after having that initial hiccup on lap 1. And he's been able to stay consistent, stay aggressive, and kind of move a couple spots back up. At one point, obviously, down in about the 14th or so position. So to possibly get out of here at the top 10, I'm going to say that's not a bad result here. But yeah, right now, Nick Degroot, he's just counting down these laps here. At this point, if a caution comes out, this thing would finish under yellow. Again, no green-white checkers here on the IndyCar series. But right now, like I said, Nick's liking what he sees because he's got enough margin. Laps are looking pretty even. Although last time by, Matt was about
Matt just hit the wall.
Oh, yeah, say Matt was about 2.5 tenths quicker. But yeah, you're right. Oh, big contact with the wall. That car not even rotating anymore. That's going to allow Luis to go by for that 2nd position. As we get down to 2 to go, Matt may be at risk for not even holding onto a podium here tonight in that number 6 machine, because that gap to he and Eric Peterson is growing, or I should say shrinking, extremely quickly. So it's already down to about 2 seconds. But up front, Nick Degroot, he's going to take the white flag here, and that was what he wanted to see, as he's got a 2-second margin over Luis. Matt's still currently holding on to that 3rd position over the 36 of Eric Peterson. I'm going to keep an eye on that as they kind of come out through 3 and 4. But no questions here, though. Our race winner going to be the 89 of Nick Degroot, coming across the line, gets the win. He's going to roll it back. Luis Gonzalez is going to grab 2nd. Here's that battle for 3rd. Matt's just going to hang on to it over Eric Peterson, who's going to bring it home in 4th. Jeff Heisong is going to round out his win last week with a top 5 here tonight. And that will actually be our lead lap finishers. 5 drivers here tonight, Chris, on the lead lap. 6 on back, a lap or more down. That's just how quick things happen here at Dover.
Definitely insane to think about. And watching Matt the last 2 or 3 laps, with a damaged car, almost reminded me of Lewis Hamilton back at Silverstone a couple years ago, where he finished the race. He won the race with three tires. One was blown up.
Yeah, that's a good point. I remember that race as well. And he kind of called in, like, basically, tire down, but he had such a lead, he was able to limp it back. And I'm saying that's the thing. Silverstone versus Dover, very very different lengths of tracks and such. But yeah, Matt did a great job of limping that thing back to the end there and able to hang on to that podium. It's gonna sting. Don't get me wrong. I know he's not gonna be happy about how that ended up, but he able to get it to the end and still grab that podium. So before we get to those interviews, though, Chris, let's go ahead and pull up our final results for tonight with those top 15 drivers. And it's going to be Nick Degroot, our race winner, over Luis Gonzalez Nunez, Matt Wagner, Eric Peterson, Jeff Heisling, as we mentioned, our top 5 all on the lead lap. And William Gunn, Dan Morera in 6th and 7th. And then 2 down, we got Joseph Morales, Charles Teed, Christian Show, Craig Forsyth, and AJ Musselman. And unfortunately, early retirements of Yari Brubacher, Jim Herrick. And unfortunately, didn't see Joseph DeCiro here this evening. Was here during practice, but had to step away or something. But will be credited in the 15th position. All right, so with that, though, Chris, let's hunt down our victims to chat with. And we are going to start things off with our 3rd place finisher, which will be the number 6 machine of Matt Wagner. And so I got to appreciate, though, Switch Paint Schemes went over to rep Green White Checker TV. And Matt, I'm pretty sure I commentators cursed you, so apologies there. But man, the strategy was looking perfect until that late yellow. I'm sure you had some choice words when that happened. But I got to ask, though, my biggest question on that one was the pitting with Nick as well. Were tires wearing that much to make a difference to do that, or was it just what was the thought process there? Was it fuel, was it tires combination? Because I thought for sure you were just going to stay out in that number 6 machine to kind of make Nick have to work his way around you. So take us through that. I think that's one of the big stories I think here tonight.
So if I would have stood out, I would have trapped all those cars a lap down still, and Nick would have like a few cars in front of me. But the problem is fuel. I was fuel saving during that run, so you can save like an extra 4 laps, at least 4 laps. So it was quite difficult to make my decision of what to do. So being up front, you're going to burn the most fuel, most definitely, doubt. So it was pretty much a free pit stop. I said, you know what? There's only going to be 3 cars. Tires are going to be a factor toward the end of the race, which they were. Clean air is going to be big, but I was kind of like flipping a coin here. So I took the free pit stop. Do I have any regrets? Kind of, but you never know what can happen.
Yeah, Matt, very good race from you, man. You almost came up with the perfect strategy that would have basically put everybody a lap down and on notice for saving. We think you would have made it if you went in the fuel saving mode during the caution. I think there would have been just enough laps there doing that.
Yeah.
But tell me how the race was for you. It seemed like it was hard to pass, but once you were able to see someone kind of make that mistake, we saw you pass Nick a little bit where he kind of slipped up just a bit and just gave you enough clean air for the car just to roll through in the corner. Was there just a lot of setting up, or is it just more of a let me see what comes to me?
So that's fresh tires, 100%. Tire heat is really big here, especially at a concrete track. And let's see, forget what the track temperature was. I know it was about 100 and it wanted to start the race. It was about 115, and it dragged down to 93. But it cooled down just a little bit, which allowed me to kind of run that Jimmy Johnson light, where he just kind of cuts the corner off of 4 a lot and gains all that time, which I was kind of doing to Nick there. And I got that run to the outside, and he immediately just bolted right back to me. So I was a little bit scared on fuel, so I let him by, and then I saw the lap traffic came up, and then once we got closer to that lap traffic, oh man, the car pushed and pushed and pushed. It was quite difficult after that.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely, I'm sure, a range of emotions for you tonight. I say it looks like it was a range of emotions for my brother as well. He was voting for you for president, and then you got then unfortunately he revoked his vote for you for president. So
Yeah.
it was a big range of emotions for Quabi watching you tonight, but he was definitely rooting you on, Matt. And I mean, and obviously, of course,
Yeah.
unfortunately that the wall contact towards the end, but
Yeah.
able to hang on to it, keep Eric Peterson behind to get that podium as well. But man, yeah. You definitely had your work cut out tonight in more ways than one.
Speaking of Quabi, and you yourself, I really, really wanted this victory. I really wanted to win this for your dad. This is one of your dad's favorite racetracks around here in Indy Series, and I know he wanted to run this race on the calendar, and I feel like I let him down. It's like this. Dang, I just wish I wouldn't have let Nick by. I could have been celebrating with 2 beers in my hand and wishing Jim the old best.
Nah, I'm sure he's still gonna enjoy the effort you put out, and I mean, and this thing is, it wouldn't be an Area 51 race without pit strategy and of course late race drama with the timing of yellows and things like that. I mean, that's just how things work. I mean, that was Las Vegas last week too, where it was all about who was where at the timing of the yellows, and that was that. I mean, Jim and I obviously we debriefed at some point last week after the race, where it's like, man, if not for that yellow, I think I had a good spot, and I told him, I was like, it was the same thing. It's like the fuel mileage was great for you on the first one.
Yes,
It bit you on the second one, and say that's just the nature of the beast sometimes, unfortunately. And so that was it tonight. It's like you had the fuel mileage perfectly. Just unfortunately, the timing of the yellow. Had it come out after Nick and Luis had to make their final pit stops, you'd have still been 2 laps to the good on them. So yeah, it's just sometimes you had the speed, you had the strategy, just the luck didn't turn out in your favor tonight. But
well, it's kind of been my way in Area 51. We're on the dry spell. We want to get off that. Hopefully next week is we grab that horseshoe and can celebrate in Victory Lane.
yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, you're been there, and that's what we talked about. Is just keeping yourself in position. That's all it takes. It's just at some point things will turn your way. But great job tonight, Matt, and definitely want to give you the floor though. Any thanks and shouts for that third place finish tonight.
There's only one shout out I want to do, and you already know this. Is shout out to your dad. Oh, we love you. We miss you. You really truly mean a lot to this league, and I really like to thank you for making me an admin of and working with you in this league. And it's been I love it so much, and I wouldn't turn it down for nothing. And I thank you for that, guys. You two, your brothers. You guys are great. I really truly appreciate it. No, thank you very much. And the other brother from another mother in the broadcast booth, you've been doing a great job. I've been listening to you, and Chris, it's just awesome listening to you.
Hey man, thank you so much. Like being up here. It's almost funner being on here than being on the track. I'm sweating just as much, but yeah, thank you for the kind words.
You're welcome, Matt. You guys have a great night.
You too, man. Great job tonight. Looking forward to seeing you next week, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right, that is our podium third place finish there, Matt Wagner. We're going to jump back over now to our runner-up tonight, which will be Luis Gonzalez Nunez. And Chris, we talked about it coming into tonight. He had a huge finish to the season last, getting some wins, some podiums, and he's right back in it again, getting a runner-up here tonight. And Luis, obviously, it was a strategy race tonight. It looked like you and Nick were probably going to be forced to make that 3-stop strategy under green. A few drivers looked like they might try to pull off the 2-stopper. Then that late yellow. I mean, is that a sigh of relief when that caution comes out, or is that one that you kind of just wanted to see on a competitor side, kind of let it play out and see what happens if it stayed green there? I mean, take us through kind of your race tonight.
Well, it was tough. Was super difficult. Really, really was super difficult. I don't remember how hard is this track with this car. So yeah, what you said. So I tried to go with 3 pit stop, faster pit stop, like I say in liters. So I'm gonna say maybe 30, 35, 36 liters per each pit stop. So it's like at least 7 seconds on pit stop, maybe 6, depends. Well, yes. About the last yellow flag was a relief about me. So because I hit the wall, I was behind two Williams, but I still saved my last chance fast repair. So I still save it because I hit the wall when Matt passed me on the first stint. So I feel like the car is lost maybe 2 kilometers or something like that. So yeah, so that's basically I thought on about to jump in on just only 3 times on the pit stop. So the good thing I thinking about to come in on maybe 40 laps to go, maybe because my car is going down. So when I come in, I did an announcement actually, but I thinking about no, this is the time. So when I thinking about that, the yellow flag is out. So was medical. So like okay, I am the game again. So I'm happy for the second place. Bad for Matt because I saw hit 2 times the wall, and that one was the worst. So bad for him.
Yeah, good job, Luis. Been that purple, white, and yellow car has become a little bit iconic to me. It's definitely something I take notice of. Something I do gotta say is for running this race, it felt like real quick that this race was absolutely blazing by. But did you feel like you had to change your lines a little bit when running behind these guys? You were almost there at the end where these Nick and Matt were racing really hard, and then it seems like you kind of just dropped back a little bit, and you figured that, hey, let me just save my tires just a little bit and see what comes to me. Did you just have to run different lines just to save your tires?
No, I thinking about these guys gonna crash it together. That's what I thinking because they make a lot of move. So I saw Matt coming in because Nick touched the apron, I think. So he break my car. So I go slow, and I saw Nick going inside. So he like make a wave in the back straight. So I thinking about okay, isn't the code? Or maybe it's gonna be a crash or something's gonna come in. So that's why coming back. And as what you said, so I saving the tires on the end on the stint because Matt lost the tires on the end of the stint, so on the end of the race. So I feel things about the car when I coming down on the apron and try to catch Matt, but I adjust my weight jacket to maybe I wasn't positive 7, so +7. So I put it down in 3. So was yeah, it's so strange. It's very strange the car. So it's very strange. And the first thing was amazing, and the second was it's okay, and the last thing was that's weird. But that's what the reason. So I just coming back like okay, Matt is much faster, and I think this guy is gonna crash, but didn't happen. So that's a good thing.
I mean, it was a great run, Luis. I mean, that's what we talked about. You see, last season you picked up strong at the end, and you're saying you're starting it again here tonight. So it's going to be fun. I say I think you're going to be giving these guys a run for their money over the full course of the season. I know we talked about work kind of getting in the way a little bit last season, so hopefully we'll get to see a full tilt here because. Yeah, I think these guys are going to be sweating when they see that Sim Race 24/7 machine behind them. Like I said, loving the paint scheme. Yeah, the purple, the white, the yellow. It's like I said, it stands out, Chris, and I'm on board with you there. But before we let you go, I know you've got some great support with your family, so you got to let them know too. Have them add some chat in here on YouTube if they have anything they want to ask or anything like that. By all means, we'd love to hear from them. As I know they like to watch and support you, so definitely want to give you the floor here for any thanks and shouts for that runner up tonight.
Oh well, I want to say something about the car. It's really iconic car for me. It's I have a two iconic cars for Indy cars. So one of the '97, the Indy Racing League, and this Indy Racing League, this the color to AJ Foyt, Eliseo Salazar use with that car. It's the same color. So basically, one of the sponsors, the graphic designer, did the same when I wanted, the same what I used in 2001, I think so, 2001, when he running the best season in the entire IndyCar he did. So that's the thing. Very happy for you like the color, so I'm very happy also too. So the second I say for sure, simrace247.com, my team, my team with Darren support me in every single thing what I did. So I'm very happy with stay with him. Yes, TV too, and yeah, that's it. So HyperX, I have in the color too in the car, inside the car. So thanks so much for support too. So yeah, and also my family, my two big fans in my country now, my mother, my father. So I just want to say thank you for support me. Gracias por estar viéndome. Gracias a ustedes dos por estar. José, Dina, por ayudarme, por alentarme. Así que vamos a ver la próxima semana si ganamos o sacamos un podium. I hope next week I'm gonna get the podium or maybe win. Who knows? So yeah, thank you so much. And I will 100% gonna be on full time. I really enjoyed these races here, and it's a good level. And I hope. Actually, I'm very glad to see just only one yellow flag, and it's better than the last time when the IndyCar series was in Dover. So actually, Indy Racing League was in Dover, so was better. So I didn't expect to just only one yellow flag and two stop, two pit stop in green flag. So I'm very happy. So congratulations for everybody to the great race today, and congrats to Nick, Matt, and thank you so much, guys.
Yeah, great job tonight, Luis. Enjoy this one. Yeah, like I said, doing a great job this season. Look forward. I'm glad to hear you'll be here for the rest of it, because, like I said, I think you're going to be one to watch for. So, go enjoy this one, and look forward to seeing you next week, sir.
See you next week, and 100%. Thank you so much.
All right. So after that, I'm pretty sure we got someone else we have to chat with. I'd say a very, very unfamiliar face to the victory lane, to the podium interviews. That is going to be our race winner, Nick Degroot. Started on pole, led the most laps, and is going to get the win. But man, I think the question of the night though is going to be the fuel mileage strategy without that caution. I mean, is that the sigh of relief of the night for you? Or I mean, because I was like, okay, Nick's going to back it down. He's going to just go full fuel mileage. He's got some gap to play with, but you were just, I mean, let's say, kind of pull a sponsor plug here. I say you're kind of going full cowboy there, and just look like you're just pedal to the metal tonight.
Yeah, so we had a plan from the start, and that was go like hell all the way. Expect yellows, and I wasn't really concerned about it until we got about halfway through that race, and I'm like, all right, people are pretty spread out. This has been pretty clean. I don't think we're going to get the yellow. And at that point, I think it was too late for me to just kind of back it down and save. And with the amount of cars I had passed, I'm like, let's just keep charging. Let's push it. If we keep going at this pace, even when we have to pit at the end, we still could end up with a 5th, 6th place finish. Obviously not ideal, but it's kind of the situation I was in at that point. And yeah, I knew full well without a caution we were toast. We were not going to win that race. We were not even going to be on the podium. I know Craig and AJ were among those guys who were really saving hard, and we're definitely going to make it. So that caution sucks for them, but it's just how it goes sometimes. I got lucky. I definitely had the track position to start the race, but on strategy, they had me covered. I just fully expected that to be a very different kind of race.
Yeah, Nick, it was very odd to kind of not see too many yellows. We were having cars drop off. There were some people having to go off track for some incidents, especially during the first pit stop run, and just probably the first 2 seconds of the green flag at the beginning of the race. But during your second stint, we saw you look like you were going to try to extend and kind of change your strategy, and then you caught some lap down cars and you started making some passes, and I think you got up all the way to Craig, and you were kind of like, you know what, let me just go into the pits right now, because you're passing them high, and then you realize that it might just killed your momentum, having to pass these 2 cars, but having the race go down as it is, we finished the race with about 4 cars on the lead lap. I would venture to say that with the pace and everything going green, you almost would have put down everybody in the podium probably a lap down, looking at how things were working out for you. You had about a 2-second lead, and once the lap cars came around, it looked like you were about to gap them by about 5 or 6 seconds there. Was that going to be a strategy for you to just see how many cars you could put down on a lap?
Yeah, absolutely. Abandoning the fuel strategy there was just kind of, I had to embrace just lap as many as you can, get as far away from the guys behind you as possible, and hope for a yellow. And if there's not a yellow, well, hopefully we get a top 5 finish maybe. But yeah, it was kind of like that. And when I first got behind that group of cars that had Craig in it, I was like, maybe we should start like hard saving here. And then I just started doing the numbers in my head. I'm like, no, it's not worth it at this point. I don't think it would work out, and I would just be making the situation worse for myself. Instead of maybe finishing 5th, 6th, 7th, I'd be finishing 10th or worse. So if it went green, so I just kept charging, and it was Luis pitting that made me realize, oh wait, since I have to make this extra stop, I'm already in my fuel window. So why am I bothering with these guys and trying to get by him and losing all this time? Let's just do the undercut. And yeah, I was in danger doing that because, of course, it was a caution that would have caught us out. But thankfully, we cycled all the way through the pit stops, and then we got the caution. And at that point, there was just me, Luis, and Matt on the lead lap. So went into the pits, got the fuel to get us to the finish, got some new tires, and got to battle it out with Matt, which was really exciting there towards the end.
Yeah, it was a big back and forth between you and Matt for those couple laps, and then it seemed, I don't know if it was tire wear or what there, but say for me, I think for Chris, I mean, I was honestly shocked to see Matt stay out there. But I mean, how was the tire wear tonight? Was it something that, had he stayed out, did you feel like he was gonna possibly be a sitting duck for as many laps as he had run before the cautioner, or was it, you think, maybe more of a fuel situation than tires there for that final pit stop under yellow?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I wasn't really paying too much attention to his strategy, to be honest. All I know is that on that start, or on that restart, I was like, I need to keep this lead because once these tires wear, it's going to be really impossible to pass. And I immediately made a mistake, and Matt just swept right under me. I'm like, oh boy, that's not ideal. And then I try to send him back under him, and I think you guys probably saw that I had to slam on the brakes under in turn 3 because I entered so shallow, and I put a lot of weight jacker in it and trusted the car way more than I should have because I just about speared him. I had to fully get on the brakes, and Luis even had to lift there, or else I was going to hit him, and that would have been a really dumb move on my part. So yeah, probably should have taken into account where I was on the racetrack entering that corner, but I really thought it was my last chance to get it back after that mistake. But thankfully we were able to run him down. The tires still had some life in them and get to his inside. And I think he said after the race to me, he's like, I should have just defended the bottom, made you gone to the outside, which I'm surprised he didn't do because I think that would have been the way to go. And the real problem with these with these lap cars at the end was, even if you had the lead like I did, they had the fresher tires. So you have the dirty air and you're not catching them and they're not really going anywhere. And I'm just searching around trying to find a lane, and then Matt starts closing in on me and I'm like, okay, I gotta do something here. So I just kind of swept low, and I think it surprised him a little bit, giving him the dirty air, and he unfortunately pushed it to the wall. Thankfully still got the 3rd place finish. But yeah, I was really searching there even towards the end of the race. We may have led a lot of laps, but we were definitely fighting the thing from start to finish. There were a few times off turn 2 and off turn 4 where I had that thing sideways. So yeah, Dover's a monster, that's for sure.
Yeah, exactly right. I say it definitely lived up to its reputation tonight. It was a challenge for a lot of drivers, but like I said, I mean, you, Luis, and Matt definitely seemed like you had a pretty good grasp on it tonight, though, for sure. But it was a great job tonight. Like I said, I mean, yeah, start first, finish first, but obviously anything but a cakewalk tonight. But a great job tonight, Nick, and definitely got to give you the floor here for any thanks and shouts you'd like to give for tonight's win.
Yeah, glad to be able to get that win a lot earlier this season than last season for Factory Back Motorsports. Everybody who supports us from motorsport.com, KobeMoore.com, Canvas Shoes, Wegmans, Degroot, U-Haul, Detailing, Cowboy Shin, and everybody else who supports us. Can't wait for next week. I'm not really sure where we're going next week. I haven't looked at the schedule, but sure it'll be fun.
All right, man. Go enjoy this one. Great job tonight, Nick. It was a wild one tonight, but yeah, awesome job getting that win. And yeah, looking forward to see what you guys got for us next week, man.
Yep. Thank you, guys.
All right, Chris, that is our race winner in that number 89 of Nick Degroot. But like, I mean, yeah, it was it was definitely not a cakewalk tonight. A lot of stuff happening this evening, but was able to get it done at the end. And like I said, a little bit of back and forth, and yeah, some close racing there with he and Matt. And he just was able to kind of get where he needed to be before those tires kind of started to give up the ghost, get those temps a little bit too hot. But yeah, I mean, 130 laps here at Dover, 1 caution. It was, again, really tough track. It's really tough to pass here, but everybody did a great job of kind of just managing themselves and the cars, and just a really good one here tonight.
Yeah, very interesting race from start to finish, and I would say this is something that you will rarely see in most racing. I feel like there's a certain caliber of driver that's able to do this, and Nick was able to almost do this tonight, where as the leader, we had, like I said, we had 4 cars on the lead lap finish this race, but if this went green the way that Nick almost wanted it to go, and a little bit for Matt too, but if this went Nick's way even more than it already did, there's a certain amount of way, the strategy that he was going to play was putting down his own insurance. Where if he lapped down these cars, we had Jeff the only car 1 lap down. William, Dan, Joseph Morales, Charles T. These guys were 2-3 laps down. So for Nick to do that, he was almost sealing his way to get a podium either way, where he was only going to have 1 or 2 cars to really beat if something were to come up at the end of the lap. So I've never really seen that too many times in iRacing, and let alone racing in general in, all series of all sports. So very cool to kind of notice that tonight.
Yeah, and the other fun part is, of course, the 2 just completely polar opposite strategies tonight. We saw Nick Degroot, like you said, he was going full send from lap 1. Matt Wagner, he had the fuel mileage strategy pretty much down to perfection as well. And that's the thing too, like I said, if it had gone green, obviously it would have been probably Matt Wagner in victory lane tonight, and the question would have been, how many laps down would the field have been, because we feel like Luis and Nick probably would have been trapped a lap down because of what they had happen. But again, Matt was very close to lapping those other cars on the 2-stop strategy as well, so it would have been really tight for a lot of those guys. I mean, honestly, he could have lapped the field depending on how things went if it went to perfection. So, a wild one tonight. Chris, always appreciate you coming in the booth with me for these things. Again,
definitely.
Kicking off the week here, we'll be back on Thursday night for the Super Speedway Truck Series. I'll say I should have Maxwell in the booth with me helping out over there. And again, he's going to be getting his feet wet pretty soon. Going to be running the show here in the next couple of weeks. Also, hopefully we'll have Boomer back next week as well, as he's been kind of in the middle of a move. So definitely looking forward to having the full stint here. But yeah, Chris, always a pleasure doing these with you. And yeah, like Matt said, definitely Papa, love you, missing you on track, but definitely enjoying spending the time with you no matter where it's at, being at home, at the track, at a hospital, it doesn't matter. As long as we're hanging out, it's a good time. So hope you all enjoyed it tonight. Have a wonderful evening. Stay safe. Take care. And we'll see you all on Thursday night.